Hi everyone. So the other day when I was filming the page 8 of my Mixed Media Morsels book of colors, you guys saw that my page came loose and eventually came out. So I do want to repair that, and I thought I would just share the process of what I do to repair it. And the first thing I did is I went ahead and glued in a piece of fabric. The reason I'm on the blue page is that's where the center of my book was. So that's where the page actually came out, right here. So I went ahead and glued in this piece of blue fabric because I wanted it to dry in time to go ahead and continue with the repair or the surgery on my little book. So I just need to trim off this fabric here. Okay. Now, I did that because I wanted to stabilize that area because it did tear. The length of a staple is where it's got a hole now, the length of the staple there. So what I'm going to do is take the staples out, and I'm going to stitch the book together. And I'm going to avoid where the staple holes were, and I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I'll put a hole here above the staple area, a hole in the center between the staple area, and a hole again at the bottom below the staple area. So first I've got to take the staples out. I'm going to try to lift the edges just a little bit with a screwdriver before I attempt to pull them out, just to make it easier and so that I don't damage my book. It's just being difficult. There we go. All right, now I'm going to do that same thing here. All right, I took the cover off of my book already, and I'm just going to take the little staple remover and put it in there and hopefully lift that staple out. Okay, so I got the staples out. So now I can set my page back inside here, and then I'll get some clips and my needle and thread and see if we can repair it. Okay, I'm using some waxed linen thread that I have in my little bookbinding kit, and I'm just doing 2 lengths plus a little bit more to stitch the book up. Got a large eye needle here. All right. So now I'm just stacking all of my pages together with the cover, with the brown cover, and I'm pushing down into the spine area. I'm just pressing that down in, and then I'm gonna, and just making sure that everything is level and even, and then I'm gonna clip the book together. Again, there we go. Just clipping the book together on one side and then on the other side. Just to hold the pages together, keep them all together in the same spot. Okay, and I've got an old paperback book that I use to press the spine of the book down into, and I've got an awl. Just going to do this. You guys have seen me do this before. I'm just going to roughly find the center. This is, I'm not measuring this one. Just kind of a rough guesstimation. Push the awl down in there, and it goes all the way through to the outside. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top and the bottom, being careful to go past the staple hole. Just doing this one right up at the top and this one right down at the bottom. here. Okay. All right, so we have our holes. And I'm going to be tying this together in the center inside the book, not the outside, I guess. Actually, I could tie it on the outside because my cover will cover up, and then it won't be as thick on the inside. So I'll start on the outside this time. And I'm pulling it through and go, holding on to the tail so it doesn't go all the way out. Then I'm going to go either to the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. Just pick one, go for it. Okay. Then I'm going to go all the way down to the other end. Okay. And now we go back down through the middle. And try not to split the thread, but just share the same hole there. Okay. All right. And now I'm just going to tighten the thread. I actually want one of these tails on one side of that long thread, with that long stitch, and one on the other. So one on each side. Okay, tighten it up, make sure everything is snug, which it is. And then tie it off. Okay. And there we go. All stitched together. So now it's back and not torn out anymore. Okay. And hopefully it'll stay together very well for the last few pages we have in our book. Need to glue that little flower down a little bit. Just do that now so I don't forget. Now, I noticed that because these pages are getting thick, they're kind of coming out a little further than my cover. You see they're extending past the cover just a little bit. So I thought I might extend this canvas out just a little bit. When I made my cover, I glued it together and then I trimmed off some, and I cut into my glue, so some of these are not glued very well anymore. So they'll come right open because they're not glued very well. I think it will all come open. Let's see. Yeah. So if I do that and then I just extend it by making this just a little shorter, then I've extended it by about 1/4 inch. I could do that on either end, and I think I will like how that looks better. So I'm going to give it a try and just see how I like it, how it looks, if I have it extended enough, and just put it back, kind of lay it back in there and just see how I like it. If I like it, then I'll just re-glue this. It needed to be re-glued anyway, and I'll re-glue that at the top and bottom, and see what that looks like. Yeah, see the cover extends just a little bit above the top and bottom of the book, so I think it's good for it to probably do that on the edges too. I really didn't take into account the fact that the book would get thicker and the pages would start to protrude out the end. So this is just a little bit of something that I'm doing, and you can do if you want. Of course you don't have to, but see how that looks a little bit nicer now, the edge coming out just a bit. So probably what I'll do is just press that a little bit to relax that first fold, and I'll do the same thing on this end, on this side, and then I'll just re-glue that. I'm not going to do that on camera, but just so you'll know what I'm doing, and that way it kind of I think the book fits into the cover a little bit more nicely that way. Now, the cover is going to, the canvas cover is going to extend a bit past the craft cover, but I don't mind that. I think it'll look nicer being out there. Then another option too, instead of having this be a removable cover, the canvas could just simply be glued to the outer cover. So if you want to do something like that, you could just glue it there and then, you know, trim it off if you want. But I think I'm going to stick to the slip-on cover for now. And I think I'll like that. I think I'll enjoy how that looks. So that's how we're going to repair little books if you need to do the repair like I'm needing to do. I hope that gives you some ideas on how you can fix it and make it work properly again for you. All right, we'll see you again soon, guys. Take care and be safe. Bye-bye.